consumed with cool hats that nothing else is going to get their attention, but if they see a pink hat, hey, they might talk to this girl, whatever. In that regard, God cares about these things, so the things of themselves are irrelevant. Skateboarding is irrelevant, and yet, because God, the God I know, cares about the skateboarders, I skateboard. I'll tell you why, because the book that my drug dealer at the time lent to me, how insanely good is God, lent me a book called The Cosmic Conspiracy, my drug dealer. He'd read it and it didn't do anything for him. He lent it to me thinking, oh, you'll dig this, Brian, because I was a bit interested in aliens at the time, because a lot of skate videos then were all about aliens. Well, trying to hurry, and nearly at the point. And it had a picture of UFOs on the cover and a pyramid and the Eye of Horus and all sorts of occult imagery, but it was written by a Christian person in the CIA about how the governments of the world are on the side of the devil. You would have heard of the Illuminati, yep. Big Brother, all of that conspiracy theory stuff. Well, this guy worked in the CIA in America and knows it to be true, not just theory. So I'm reading this book thinking, this is really cool. The government worships the devil. That would make sense because I was a punk rock person listening to punk rock music, which is all about the government is, don't trust the government, don't trust religion, don't trust your parents, don't trust anyone, it all sucks, it's all a mess. So because it's a mess, make it more of a mess. And then I read this book and it's point by point talking about the evil world we live in and how bad it's getting and how the people who run it want everyone to worship the devil. And I'm like, alright, so I'm actually on the wrong side then. I'm rebelling, I'm trying to rage against the machine by being in all this punk music and just living without rules, and yet the government, who I think I'm rebelling against and who rage against the machine think they're raging against, want everyone to worship the devil. So I'm actually on the government side, and God has a better way. And in the middle of the book it just said, the world is being flooded with evil and it's going to get worse and worse and worse, and the only way to escape is to get in the ark, figuratively speaking, which is Jesus. And I'm like, oh no, idiot, kicking myself. Looking back on all the times I've paid out Christians for being so gullible and so stupidly wrong, and all of a sudden I'm realising I'm on the wrong side. So that's why I switched, and I just jumped back to when I was 15. And for years I pretended I didn't believe in God. But in my heart I did, and I told people I didn't, but there's this one experience that stands out to me. It's one of the weirdest things that ever happened in my life. As an atheist who said he didn't believe in God, I just finished school, I just picked up a new skateboard for free, I'd just gone home, put it together before having to ride from Palm Beach to Coolangatta to work at Macca's. And I finished putting the board together and had about half an hour spare before I had to go. And it was just a moment of boredom. And I didn't feel like putting on any more punk music, I'd listened to it all too much. And in the bored moment, I found myself thinking and then praying inside, not with my mouth, but praying, hey God, I know you're there. You and I know you're there. And you and I know that I'm having a blast living this ungodly life and I deserve to go to hell. I'm horribly aware of that. So, and then the prayer just went like this. But I can't say it as quick as it went, but sort of just imagine I'm going this fast. It was like, okay, so you know what I'm doing, and I know Christianity is obviously the way to go, but when I'm older, because I'm having fun right now, so if you could just keep me alive all this until then, that'd be good, thanks, see ya. And then I didn't think about it again, for years. Till I got saved, and I look back and I go, what a weird thing. So when people ask me, hey, do you believe in God? God's not real, how do you know He's really real? Among many other things, I look back on that time when my heart was telling me, a godless person who went to church once and thought it was weird, my heart was telling me, God is real, and you are going to hell, and there's a better way. So anyway, God rescued me from that horrible mess, freed me from drug addiction, from sex addiction, from being paranoid. Paranoid took a good year to become even remotely normal, which I'm not fully normal yet, as you would have noticed. But God works with our weaknesses, and I suspect He's left a remnant of the scatteredness just as a testimony of what He's done. I'm trying to wrap up. I'm not. Is anyone, hands up if you're bored? I know it'd be very rude and you probably wouldn't do it, but because I'm nearly done, I think. I just need a moment to make sure there's nothing that I haven't covered. My watch is not going to help me. Excuse me. So I got gloriously saved, and from there on decided I have decided to follow Jesus. If we had time, I'd sing that with you. I remember singing that song and other songs about the blood of the Lamb and just being just like, are you serious that God would be smashed to bleeding for me? And I had a cast on my arm, I had orange hair with I think a clump or a mohawk and just crappy skateboarder clothes on. I went to church and I just looked like a scumbag, act like a scumbag. Anyway, actually, no, I read the book. The book gets my attention. I know I'm on the wrong side. And then my wife, who was my girlfriend, her mum was going to a Baptist church. Go Baptist churches and Baptist mums who pray for their daughters. She was praying for her. So we went to the Helensville Baptist Church and they did the heads down, thumbs up thing, which I don't think is the best thing to do if you're going to have an altar call. I'm not, it happens, but if someone's not bold enough to say, yeah, I'll follow Jesus with everyone's eyes open, they're going to have trouble the next day when they go to work. So that's just a pet hate of mine, being an evangelist. Believing in counting the cost. But anyway, I couldn't even do it with the heads down, thumbs up. I'm bent over, everyone's heads down, and the preacher's all, who wants to follow Jesus, etc. And in my heart I already decided I'm going to church to be a Christian. But then when it comes to the crunch, I've got my eyes closed. And you know the cartoons, they've got the devil and the angel in some old cartoons, and it's tempting. I'm physically moving left to right with, I've decided to do this Christian thing. It's the way, this is the wrong way. The government are into Satan. I know what I'm going to do, but sex, drugs, rock and roll, do I really want... And I physically move back and forward, so retarded. And my wife, who's 2 seats, who's girlfriend at the time, puts her hand up, and the guy's all... I see that hand, I'm like, she did it, pride, arrogant, stupid, paranoid head of mine just clammed up then and went, cranky. Walked out of there, cranky as anything, hating everyone, thinking I had to go to church to get saved. So I waited an agonising week and went to the Assemblies of God the next week and went down the front looking stupid and got saved. So that's a shame. I could have known the Lord a week earlier had I known what I know now. So, the world has nothing that you want. I've tried it all, and since being a Christian, I can tell you that my favourite times of my life are times in prayer meetings that I've had, times alone with the Lord under a tree, times my daily devotional time, times with Christians celebrating God, compared to the drugs and the sex and the fame and all the fun and the skateboarding that I do. They are insignificant in specialness to the things that the Lord does inside your heart. When He stirs and excites you, it's incomparable. That's the word. So,